Episode 50. Is AI a friend or foe to radio?
The AI6 Podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
Radio has always been about human connection, creativity, and built on public trust. But now AI is shaking up the sector. In today's episode, I'm taking you behind the scenes of my recent panel at Radio Days Ireland, where we were asking one of the biggest questions facing the sector. Is AI a friend or foe to radio? Hello and welcome back to the AI6 Podcast, where I explore how AI is reshaping marketing and communications. I'm Joanne Sweeney, and in this episode, I'm reflecting on a brilliant panel I was part of at Radio Days Ireland. Here's my take. AI is a friend to radio and to media in general, but only if we approach it with intention. We must adopt through test and learn. We need to develop clear use cases, create guidance on how it's used, understand the legal landscape, and most importantly, look for where it genuinely adds value and educate everyone so they are AI literate and competent. From pirate radio to AI, agility is in the DNA of radio. Sitting in a room full of broadcasters from across Ireland over 2 days at Radio Days Ireland, I couldn't help but think, radio has always adapted. 40 years ago, pirate radio was trying to take on the establishment. Today, AI is shaking things up. And once again, the industry has a choice: resist or embrace. I'd argue this is the moment to take AI on with both hands. We're in a new kind of industrial revolution, not one that replaces physical labour, but one that automates cognitive and creative tasks. The question isn't whether AI will change radio, it's whether radio can steer the change. Radio is uniquely positioned for AI, and this was a point that I was making during the panel discussion. Radio multitasks. It juggles creativity, deadlines, compliance, audience needs. And the people within radio are multitaskers. And guess what? AI is built exactly for that. It's your assistant, not your replacement. Let it take out the boring stuff. Second, radio verifies. Radio checks sources, stands over its content, and acts in the public interest. And that's critical because guess what? AI hallucinates. It can be confident and completely wrong. Radio creates human connection, something AI simply doesn't have. As I said during the panel discussion, AI has no soul. No matter how well it mimics tone or timing, that soulfulness, that spark, that's radio and the people in the sector. Another point that I made in the panel we're discussing is that shadow AI is already here. We know that the recent Microsoft Trinity College Dublin study shows that 49% of organisations are already using Gen AI. Deloitte says that usage dropped sharply after the age of 45, which is worrying because the people with the most experience and influence are the least likely right now to be using the tools. And then bring in shadow AI, where employees are using free tools without any security controls. 80% of organisations say it's happening. The tech is already in the building. The real question is, are your policies? Creativity at scale can be driven by AI. And something that's really interesting is the new AI radio network from artist and performer and writer will.i.am. His new radio network, FYI, Focus Your Interest, is a kind of interactive radio network that covers everything from pop culture to sport to politics. But it's also two-way. Unlike Spotify's DJ X, where it curates a set list based on your listening behaviours, radio.fyi is a two-way conversation. Both are AI powered, but radio.fyi is conversational, and that's what makes a difference. I also played a music insert during the panel discussion from Girly Girl Productions called 10 Cigarettes. Here's some of that song for you.
girls don't need men, but we don't need Ken. Us girls are doing fine on our own, so if you're a man, leave us alone.
The reason I played it is Girly Girl Productions is an AI band. Of course, it's stretching what's possible, and that's not really where radio is going to go. But will.i.am's AI radio network and this AI-generated girl band and that song, 10 Cigarettes, has 4.5 million listens on Spotify, are just examples of how the sector is being disrupted. We also discussed at length around regulation and responsibility when it comes to AI for radio. We know that in Ireland we are governed by the EU AI Act, but it is the responsibility of our national public sector agency, Commission Naman, to actually regulate and provide oversight in terms of AI. So start with education, start with a policy, and then empower your teams within your radio stations to test and learn. Build real-world use cases, refine, adapt, repeat. Confidence comes from use, not theory.
The AI6 Podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
So that's my takeaways from Radio Days Ireland Conference. Thanks so much to Learning Waves and also to the IBI for inviting me along. It was a fantastic 2 days. If you're interested in learning more about AI and upskilling, you can hire me for an AI in Company workshop or have a look at my AI diploma for marketers and use the code AI610 for a discount. This is the AI6 Podcast. I'm Joanne Sweeney. I'll talk to you on the next episode.